What up, y'all? Thank you for joining me on another episode of The Spot. Um, Today is it's a special day for me, man. I got one of the closest people and one of the most loyal people I've known for so many years. Um, you know, I want to say I've known him since we were in juniors in high school. So that's some time now because we graduated a little while ago. Funny story. He might remember, he might not, but at the time in high school, there was one time when I was dropping. I think it was the first time. I don't know if it was the first time we met or whatever it was, but I know um, as the parents were dropping us, my mom was dropping me off, and um, in the lines when you dropping your kids off, it's a stop, drop, and roll. You got to go, and and I was getting all my shit out the back of the van, and a lunch pail fell out. All the shit out the lunch pail fell out. And again, I don't know if you guys know of the difference between regular embarrassment and embarrassment in front of your peers, especially in high school. It was a it was a make or break moment for me. And this brother saved me a lot of embarrassment, man. He humbly came over and he said, "Man, let me help you out." And we've been cool and friends to this day, man. One of the brothers that I can always call, to ride for me. He's always been there to give me a ride, and he's always been down to ride for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the most loyal people I know, man. Um, we talking. We go back like school assemblies and free lunch. You know what I'm saying? So, let me introduce my guest, man. Mike Stafford, man. Thank you for coming through, brother, man. I
Thanks
really
for having me.
appreciate you, man, for coming
Appreciate
through.
you.
Let the people know something, man. Where you from, man? What's your neck of the woods, bro? Where'd you grow up?
Man, as a child, I grew up in a lot of different areas.
Okay.
Like I said, mom struggled to pay the rent most of my life, so we were always bouncing from apartment to apartment, city to city. But I say my heart really lies in Westminster, man. I think that's
What's
like where I
missing?
really found myself.
I could dig. I could dig. It's OC. OC. Um, is as we grown men at this point. At this point of our lives, and everybody has that whole what they defined or what they look for their life to be, years out of high school, years out of college, or whatever they have done, for their lives, and they like to use status quo as a bar for the definition of success. Um, could you give me your definition of success, man? Like, what is your take on what being successful is?
I feel like there's a lot of different ways that you can define success.
Okay.
Um, Monetary, money, how much money you have, what your net worth is, the things that you have, possessions.
Right.
For me, true success is having freedom.
Right.
Freedom to spend time with your family,
Mm-hmm.
raise your kids, pick them up from school, drop them off from school,
Absolutely.
having the money and not have to worry about, what they ask for at the store, never
Mm-hmm.
turning them down when they ask for something,
Right.
that to me, freedom of time would be the most successful thing you could ever have.
Right. Man, that's a blessing, man. Like as I piggyback off you, you're right. I define being successful is your offspring and what you teach them and what you're able to give them to be successful. A lot of people again depend on tangible things they can touch as
Yeah.
what they define as success or their career status or whatever it is. But a lot of those people look back at the end of their lives or as they get older and they realize they don't really have anything that's tangible because money's gonna come and go, careers are gonna
Money's
come
not
and
even
go.
real.
Money's not. Yes, it's not. It's relative. It's what it is. You use it, but it's
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 a tool.
it's a tool because you can't
Yep.
take it with you. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? You can't take it with you. So you know, um, and I know you have a daughter, man. She's beautiful, man. Tell me a little something about your kids, man. We're both girl dads, by the way, and I have three girls, all girls. As you guys know, I have a baby. I have a 3-year-old and a teenager. So I am part of all three worlds. That
All different stages there.
Yeah, chaotic at times, loving at times, great at times. Is it But it's it's a great thing being a father. But tell me some of the things that.
And so I got my daughter Divinity. She's my biological daughter.
Mhm.
She's 8. And then I have my stepdaughter who I've raised since she was a baby. Her name's Ilani. She's 9.
Okay.
Um, I'm a single dad, so I don't got mom in the house.
Okay.
We live separately. The kids are mostly with me.
Right.
It's a challenge, going from my background, my background,
Right.
running and gunning most of my life in and out of prison, so on and so forth. To turn around and be a sensitive dude,
Right.
to have feelings again.
Right.
As men, we're taught not to have feelings.
Right. Of course.
Especially when you come from the streets,
Of course.
suppress your feelings. And so it's been difficult trying to open that door for myself.
Yeah.
To try to allow myself to be vulnerable.
Right.
I understand that my kids aren't there to hurt me; they're there to love me.
Right.
And sometimes, that old way of thinking gets in the way of that.
Right.
Not being sensitive enough to their needs or sensitive enough to their emotions.
Right.
And it's a challenge. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. That and doing hair. I'm not gonna lie. Doing hair is definitely not my strong point. As you can tell, I don't have any. You know what I mean?
Man, let me tell you something, man. I can really respect that. It when you become, there's a difference. Having a boy and a girl. There's a hell of a big of a difference. And we wanted to try for a boy, but we was like, two in a row, girls. We're not gonna go for it. I don't think I was built to to have a boy because I'm tough on my girls. I'm tough on my girls, and I one of my other guests, he said he wrote a book, and I don't want to misquote him, but what he said was he read a book, and he said, um, parents, if you become a parent and you have a boy, it's because you need to grow up, and it's because you need to know, and because a boy is going to teach you how to grow up. If you have a girl, they're going to teach you how to love.
That makes a lot of sense.
Obviously, you love both of your children, but it's different. It hits different when you have girls. Because you have to be that extra soft, that extra sensitive, that extra, that extra pillow when the world gives them things that they're not able to deal with. They're supposed to know they can come back to daddy. So I know but it does have its challenges. It has its challenges.
Definitely.
Like he said with the hair. Trust me, I try to do my daughter's hair all the time, and she loves it. But when her mama come home, it's like, yo. But I she's very appreciative of what we try. But like you said, man, it's hard for us not to. It's hard for us as fathers. People don't really realize how hard it is for a father, especially being a single father. I mean, I couldn't imagine
and it's rough
trying to do that. When you have kids, man, it's something else, man. It's beautiful. It's rough. But being a single father, man, that's a whole nother field, man. That's a whole nother.
Yeah, it's definitely uncharted territory for me. You know what I mean? Ultimately, I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I'll give the worst day with my kids for the best day doing anything else.
Right.
And I love it, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
These kids, my kids are smart. You've seen them.
Yeah.
They're smart. You know what I mean? And I've been trying to help them grow from that. I've been teaching them about opportunity cost. I've been teaching them how to send me an invoice for the chores that they've done this week.
There you go.
We're taking a lot of steps to try to get them ahead of the game. You know what I mean?
That's dope. Kind of scaling back, what would you say that has shaped you into the person that you are today? Like,
man, that's a deep question.
Yeah, like what would you say that you're here now? What has molded you to the person that you are now? Because from the years that we rolled, again, we're grown. You know what I'm saying at this point. But what things have you know what I'm saying? What has shaped you to become who you are now?
A lot of things shape me into be the person I am now, and there's a lot of things I wish I wouldn't have had to gone through to become the person I am now.
Right.
But I think God was the underlying thing that kept me going. You know, it
Right.
kept me strong. You know what I mean? He kept my heart hardened for
Right.
the things that were out to hurt me.
Right.
And that's ultimately what saved me. It's
Mm-hmm.
God, you know,
Yeah.
and my children.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for them, I'd still be running amok. I'd probably still be out there running and gunning it and on drugs, committing many felonies,
Mm-hmm.
just doing all the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think ultimately that and the love of my friends and my support, really,
Mm-hmm.
they're the ones that always, no matter, even you, no matter where I was in my life at that moment, when you came into it, you always pushed me to be better.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so that would probably be one of the things that shaped me into my life, my support system, my
Right.
family, my friends,
Right. Right.
something like that.
I mean, that's a blessing, man. Like I always, you know, lead with God every day, especially in the world we live in today, man. Like, um, it's something to get closer with yourself, right? It's a trip when you really start to find and start to search who you really are. God will reveal who you're really supposed to be. You go through life fighting your entire life,
Yep,
and you go through, we go through these things, like you said. There's so many things that we wish that we didn't have to go through in order for us to realize where we're supposed to be at today. But I think that's something that God is not going to stop you from doing that. He gives you free will to do, but at some point you're gonna have to wake up, and at some point He does give you that wake up call, whether it comes in the form of a child, whether it comes in a wake up call. You know what I'm saying? However it is, He'll lead you to where you need to go. At the end
definitely.
of the day. At the end of the day, um, going up, piggybacking off of you being a single father. Again, I know I can't imagine the struggles and the things that you have to deal with on a daily, but as men, um, single father is not like something that's like
The norm.
the norm.
Yeah,
That the norm. It's not the norm. It's not something that, again, like you said, the norm, but it's not something that's like that almost has a what am I looking for? It's not something that if it's not something looked at as if you were a single mother. If you're a single mother, the praise goes up just a little bit higher. But if you're a
yep,
single father, it's not really looked at as, oh, he's, you know what I'm saying, like that. So I mean, as men, I feel like we're just looked at as providers
naturally.
naturally, naturally. We're sent to work, we're sent to provide, and we are not celebrated as men. And why do you think that is, man? Like, why? Like, for instance, like on I mention this all the time, but like on Father's Day, you don't really see any jewelry sales, you don't see any breakfast, you know what I'm saying, specials and different things like going on. Like, what is it, what do you think about that, man? Like, what's up with that?
So I think it all stems back to how fathers play a role in the family
Mm-hmm.
and how back in the day, a lot of the fathers were deadbeats. They
Right.
ran from their families. They
Mm-hmm.
had other secret families. They beat their wives or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
situation was, you know. And it stems back to back then
Mm-hmm.
because there was single mothers and they were holding it
Right.
down and they were doing what they were supposed to do. And now the tables are kind of turning.
Right.
You see a lot more young women out there running the streets and not with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's a shame. It's heart
Mm-hmm.
wrenching at the end of the day. Um, I don't think we get praised as much though because it's expected of us.
Right.
You're
It's an
supposed to do
expectation.
this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nothing. It's
Yeah.
not something special.
Right.
Like a
Right.
mom raising the kids by themselves.
Right. Right.
That's
Yeah.
extraordinary. Oh my
Yeah.
God, look at her. Here
Absolutely.
she goes raising these kids by herself.
Right.
But when
Right.
a man does it, it's you're supposed to.
You're supposed to. It's not, as like you said. That's what you're supposed to do. That's your role. That's just that's your role. You're supposed to come in. You're supposed to. And then when they do celebrate us, they celebrate us with work. A tool special. Hell, man, I want something nice. I want no damn screwdriver. I gotta go fix this damn. You know what I'm
Can we
saying?
get the
Like,
new
that's,
iPhone for
yeah,
low?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not really like that for the fathers out there. I understand. There are some raggedy fathers out there. There's a lot of them who are not providers, and there are a lot of mothers who do have to be fathers. But at the same time, you do have that small pocket of fathers who do deserve just a little bit more, for stepping up and being there for the kids when the mom is not able or just isn't there in general. And I think that should be something that is. recognized a little bit more
Most definitely.
on a daily basis is single fathers. It's so rare, but it's something that
Well, I mean, but look at the way the country is right now. The family unit is no longer a
right,
thing.
right, 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 right. Of
You know,
course,
it's all about co-parenting or having
right,
custody of your kids. There's no more
right.
family units,
No,
and
there's
that's what's wrong with this country.
right,
That's
right.
why we're falling to pieces because we're not holding it down at home.
Right, right. There's divorce rates are up, and there's so many broken families and broken
Exactly.
homes, and as I was telling my wife, marriage is a joke these days. They don't really take it as a sacred thing anymore. It's something that's tainted these days,
Yeah.
and I don't think necessarily. I believe in my beliefs. I believe you're supposed to marry, but at the same time, um, continuing with this narrative that the world wants you to believe. Again, that's why, like you said, that's what the problem is with there's no unity, and there's no unity under God. So if you're not leading with God, you're forced. You know what I'm saying? Your fate is failure. You know what
You
I'm
know, look at the
saying?
Pledge of Allegiance: undivisible, under
Under
God.
God,
You know what I
under
mean?
God.
And with God, all things is possible.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
and I
So
do believe in the covenant of marriage. I think it's
absolutely.
very important for kids to be
Hmm.
raised in a household with both mom and dad,
Right, right.
because there's not always going to be that one parent that can do everything by
No,
themselves.
absolutely not.
And so we're letting our kids suffer in the
Hmm.
end.
Hmm.
And so it's a shame.
Especially with girls.
Yeah,
I can only imagine how tough that is with girls.
it's
You know,
it's bad, man.
I can only imagine how tough that is with the girl because it's not a boy. It's not like you just fall into the routine like pops. You know what I'm saying? Because at the
Exactly.
end of the day, I can imagine. I wouldn't say it's easy, but it would be a little bit easier to have a boy as a single father because again, just falls into the routine. Um, with the boy, you can have a boy do boy things. Just obviously you're a man,
Exactly. There's
but
nothing you
yeah,
can't do
yeah.
with your
But
son.
with
But
girl,
with girls, you got to shield them.
you
You got
got
to
to
protect
shield them,
them.
protect them. You
You
got to
know,
teach them things that they should be learning from mom.
well, the
And
most
different things
important
like
thing I
that.
think, Keith, is that we need to teach our daughters that they don't need men.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely,
otherwise, they'll be searching for men the rest of their life, and
absolutely.
they'll be looking for the wrong men.
And that's why I practice trying to make sure my daughters have a high standard of a man when they want one. That's
Exactly.
why I try to set the prime example of treating my wife great, not just good, great. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And in front of them, I want them to see me kiss my wife. I want them to see me love my wife. I want them to see me give my wife flowers and bring just random things home for her and just take her on dates. I want them
Yes,
to
sir.
see that because
What
that's
they see
gonna
is what they do
right because what they see is
in
what
all
they do,
aspects.
and it's going to higher the standards of them when they decide that they want to have a companion and a husband in their life. Hey, my dad was like this. This is all I
My dad
expect.
was clean cut. My
Yeah,
dad went
yeah.
to work every day. My
That's
dad
yeah.
provided. That's what they
That's
should be
it.
looking for. And that's what I'm trying
Exactly.
to, and that's really what I turned my life around.
Right.
My girls are getting older. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
There's
Right.
nothing more heart wrenching than calling your kid before Christmas from a jail cell telling you you're
Hmm.
not coming home. You don't know when. You know what I
Man, I
mean?
can only
It's
imagine.
nothing more heart wrenching, man.
I can only imagine, man. And I know you dealt with a lot of hardships in your life, but I'm so glad to see you, man, turn around, man, and just take this stride of positivity, man, and just really doing your thing out here, man. I remember there were years of us being on and off of contact, and the years that we were off contact, I was always worried about you. I'm like, man, I hope he's good. I hope he's good. But I know at those times it was, you was sitting down, or you know what I'm saying. You have to do your thing. But um, I'm glad, man. And I'm happy for you, man. I'm happy. I'm happy that you got daughters. You know what I'm saying?
And me
That
too, man.
that 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 make you have to be a certain way. You know what I'm saying? That
There's no other choice.
because there's no other choice, and
Because I
especially
know
if
the
you,
type of person I could have been,
yeah,
but like I said, God had me, man,
yeah,
at all
absolutely.
times. So he protected my heart. So my heart is still pure.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I've done things that were in some folks' eyes, like the law, inappropriate, you know,
Mm-hmm.
robbing people, stealing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
selling drugs, having guns on me.
Yeah.
But to me, that wasn't inappropriate. To
Right.
me, that's what I had to do to survive in those times.
Survival
In
tactics.
that stage of my life, that's what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know nothing else. And so God, yeah, God, man, he had me. He took care of
Absolutely.
me, and I'm glad I got those girls. And they're probably the main reason why I changed my life around.
I could dig, man. So, um, let me ask you this: as you know, we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes growing up. Um, we've both done our share of mistakes. whether it was, whether it, whatever it was, we all made our mistakes. We strive to protect our children, right? Every single day, society is throwing something else at our children, whether they're telling them what to, especially with girls, telling them what they can and cannot do with their bodies. And I'm all for whatever you know what I'm saying, with your body. That's your right to do whatever it is. Now, do I have other beliefs? Absolutely. But as society, America, that this America that we live in, this place that we live in, it's so hard for women out here. Um, and it's so hard for women to get jobs. It's so hard for women to sustain equal pay. It's so hard. Going back, we know that's a fact. But on our mistakes, like, do we, if our, let's say, do we, do you feel like you would ever hold your child, do you hold your child high up on a pedestal to the point to where if she took the wrong path, um, could you be upset with her?
Well, of course. I mean, any parent would be upset when their kid goes the wrong
But I just
route.
mean,
But
from given the mistakes that we made, like, let me reword this. My parents taught us certain things, right? But a lot of the things that our parents taught us, they did.
mm-hmm. Yeah, do as I say, not as I
Do as I
do.
say, not as I
That
do.
was their favorite saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But do we hold our children to that, given that society is different? Do we hold our children to that same standard? Of course, you don't want to see your child do the extreme that you've
Of
done.
course.
But sometimes I sit back and I look at, especially my 3 year old, and I see her. She acts the same way as me, the same way. She has the same passion, the same drive, the same. She's not scared of anything. She's not, but she's wild. She's totally wild, and that's how I was. So I sit back and I'm like, but that was me. So how do you know what I'm saying?
So for me, it's like this. There's nothing that my children could ever do that would make me love them less.
Right, of course.
Disappoint me? Yeah, of course. I'm sure they're going to do some things that I'm going to shake my head at and be like,
Right.
damn it, why'd you do this?
Right.
But ultimately, there's nothing they could ever do that would make me love them any less.
Right.
At the end of the day.
I can do that.
So I can hold, just because I messed up in my life, I'm changing my life around to where they don't ever have to remember me as that person.
Mm-hmm. That's foreign to them.
Exactly.
They won't know who
they still know daddy was a gangster.
Right,
Daddy,
right.
From what they hear,
Mm-hmm.
people talking around them and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But ultimately, I went through it so that they don't have to.
Right.
So I would hold my kids to a really high standard.
Mm-hmm.
And I am on my kids constantly about their behavior, about what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And that's not to, change them in any way. It's just I want better for them. Mm-hmm. The greatest teacher, their students surpass them. You know what I mean? So like if you're training for martial arts, your trainer's goal is to make you better than he ever was.
Right.
And so that's the same thing I'm doing with my kids. So I don't think I would hold it against them, but I would definitely correct them.
Right. Man, that makes a lot of sense, man. That's that right there. I see so many people get so upset with their kids, and it's just like, you gotta stall them out. And I had to learn that. I'm currently in therapy for anxiety, and a lot of anxiety and stuff that I deal with, I didn't really realize is attached in the form of sometimes work, a lot of times your family, a lot of times your children, a lot of times just different things that we struggle with on a daily basis. Like me, sometimes, like I'm a machine, right? So I run on a schedule, constant schedule. It's that. I got to pick the kids up. I got work. I got, what I'm saying, so on and so going on. And when the kids are acting like wild and it's crazy in my household, I have to sit back, and I don't really know how to deal with that. So I used to handle it, was to get really angry, and I used to be like, "Yeah, chill out, yeah." You know what I'm saying? You take that, like,
so easy to
sit
do
down,
that,
shut up, type thing. I have to separate physically myself, and I have to talk to my wife, in regards to that, because they're kids. They're
They're supposed to do that.
They're supposed to do that. This is what they're supposed to do. This is what they're supposed to do. You think they're just supposed to be like, oh, sit down and shut up. No, they're freaking kids. That's what they're supposed to do.
They're exploring, man. They're trying to figure things out for themselves.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I had to learn that as a parent. That was a hard thing for me to learn. As I was starting out, I was very selfish. I realized as a parent, just because I was so used to things just going my way. We got to go somewhere. Put some shoes on. Let's go. Now it's we got the bottles. We got the hair. We got clean shoes. We got clean teeth. We got, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole checklist. Just leaving the house now, just go up the street. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't go nowhere these days.
It's easier just to order stuff
exactly.
to the house.
Exactly. But
taking 3 kids through the supermarket, it's no joke.
Man, tell me about it, man. So, I don't get on my kids like that for making the same mistakes that I did. Is it hard not to? But as of recently, I've been able to learn how to channel that and deal with it in a healthy, a healthy.
And that's all it's about. You know what I mean? In any situation, you want a healthy relationship all the way around, whether it's your friends, family, kids, doesn't matter. Everything has to have healthy. You have to have boundaries.
Right. Because we don't realize a lot of times what we do is we create these traumas for these children. And these traumas for these children stem from things that we've shown them, because we deal with traumas that we don't even realize that we've dealt with.
Yeah.
That we
don't even know they're there.
Yeah, our family, our uncles, our moms, our dads, and we don't even know that they're there.
I mean, nowadays even TV. Seeing stuff on TV, you can't turn on the TV without finding out somebody died.
Yep, exactly.
Or a war somewhere in some country.
Exactly. So it's really a trip of how. That's why we can't let the TV raise our kids.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We have to take the narrative and control the narrative and
make them dive into the books.
Yeah,
dive into the books. You want some entertainment? Here goes a book.
Exactly.
This is what we did when we were kids.
Exactly.
Play outside. Enjoy yourself. You know what I mean? Because time goes quick, man.
Yep.
They don't realize it, but man, I'm about to turn 37, bro.
Ooh, man.
Hitting them high numbers. Got football numbers on TV right now. We ain't getting no younger.
Man, we ain't getting no younger, man, but we get wiser and older, man. That's the thing, man. And we deserve to grow old as men, man. We deserve to grow old. Growing up, we all take different paths. And I feel like with you took a path that took you through the system.
Definitely. Multiple times.
Yeah. You've been there, you've done that, you got a t-shirt for it, as I like to say.
Got the t-shirt and the mug.
right.
Mug shot at least.
Can you tell me a little bit about, because I don't even know exactly all the things, and I don't think we even have time to go through all the things that we both been
big
through.
Dirty laundry list there, buddy.
For both of us. But can you tell me, like, what was that like for you at that point in your life? Like, can you explain like the age group that you were in as well?
High school.
High school
started
high
it.
school.
Started in high school. Kicked out and arrested halfway through my senior year, and things just went kind of downhill from there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I beat up the vice principal and the security guard at the school.
I was gonna tell that story. That was a story I was going to tell. I'll tell it really quickly. It's a very short version, and this is just what I can remember. Okay, so I remember I was just like sixth period. I remember it was later in the day. It was later in the afternoon. Was it later in the afternoon or morning? I don't.
It was like in midday.
Midday.
It was like right after lunch.
Right after lunch. Okay, I was in photo. I remember this to this day, and I went to the bathroom, and I hear him yelling from across the little quad we had. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I see our principal at the time, and the security, big security. What was his name?
I forget his name.
Brian.
Yeah,
Brian. Yeah, I remember Brian.
They used to let us skip.
Right.
Hey, he was real cool with my entry. He was real cool with my entry to the church.
Yeah, I remember.
He used to let us leave off campus for lunch.
He was a real one.
A good dude.
And I remember coming out of class, and I see this. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I see this scuffle start to take place. And so I see Brian kind of grab Mike, but I don't remember really I didn't really get the view, but I just seen the principal getting slammed. And I'm like, yo, like, what the deal? And so I ran over. I'm trying to see what's going on, and they were, at that point, I was a little too far, so they was taking them off. But, um, that was that story. Sorry for interrupting you, but can you tell me, like, I know that was a from high school, man. That was a what, you were 16, 17 at that
Yeah,
point.
I was 17 and a half.
17 and a half
Yeah,
at that point.
you were 16 and a half.
Yeah, yeah. So what was that point at such a young age? Such a young age. How was that for you? And like,
Man, it was rough. You know what I mean? I went to prison on that. I did a turnaround in state prison, and 17 and a half, I was a baby still.
right, right.
And I'm going to this place where there's killers and dudes trying to just manipulate the situation, and all kinds of stuff was going on.
Right.
And it hardened me. It really did. It made me into a soldier because you go there, you're new, you got to put in work. You got to handle your business. This person, you got bad paperwork, got to go take care of that.
Right.
And that kind of opened the door to my criminal, career, as they call it. You know what I mean? And that transgressed into other things. I only did 3 years with half, and I had some time credit. So I only did a turnaround. I was less than 11 months.
Okay.
But as a 17-year-old in a state prison with grown adults who carry knives around in their booty.
Right.
Definitely an eye-opener.
Right.
Definitely shook me, you know what I mean, as a child. But made me into a man very quickly. You know what I mean? I realized to survive, you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
And that was probably my downfall. From that early age, I realized that no matter what, I know I can get through it because I'll do what I got to do. Whether that was hurt somebody, take from somebody, run from the police,
right,
whatever, carry a gun, whatever.
So you did 24 hours on a defense and then survivor mode.
Exactly. And so, actually, it was an offense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In prison, you don't play defense.
Right.
You play offense.
right.
Defense is out here.
Right.
You're chilling at the house. You got some pistols tucked just in case something later down comes the road. But ultimately, it had me on offense. And then I got out, I found the drug world. Everybody I had slapped me on the back. Hey, good job, man. You went to prison. Woo. Got a street rep now. Went straight into the drug life. Started selling drugs. Started doing drugs. Started carrying a gun because I knew that somebody would try to get me for my drugs. You know what I mean? Because I was selling. And it just transgressed into some horrible things, man. I mean, from fraud to forgery, sales and transportation, possession of firearms multiple times, high-speed chase from cops, burglaries, robberies, you know what I mean? You name it.
Right.
And you know what I mean? I look back and I don't have any regrets.
Right.
In that moment, I did what I had to do.
Of course. I never say, you should live with regrets because it's everything has a reason for behind it.
There was a reason I was there.
There was a reason you were there. There was a reason why you went through a lot of those things.
And I knew that in my heart.
Yeah.
I knew God had me. I knew it. Right. I may not have prayed as much as I should have, or gone to church like I should have, or obeyed His laws like I should have. But I knew He had me.
Absolutely.
Ultimately.
Absolutely.
And I just knew in my heart that one day it would change.
At some point.
At some point, things would get better.
Right. Man, that's amazing, man. So what was that green light that got you out of that? Like, what was that green light moment that was like, you know what? I done been through it. I done been here. I done been to hell and back. And I'm tired. What was your tired moment? Everybody gets to this point where it's like, people say they want to be done with it and they want to do this and want to do that. And I think nobody knows. You'll know when you're tired. What was your I'm tired moment? Like I'm tired.
It wasn't really like I'm tired moment. It was the something's got to change moment.
Something's got to change.
And it was I don't want to name any names because he's still locked up and he's still plugged in with them peoples. You know what I mean? But my cellie, man, was a lifer. And he was from Orange County. And I had mad respect for the dude. I've heard of him. You know what I mean? Never. He got busted before my time, but I've heard of him. And I'm sitting in the cell with this dude, and first thing he asked me when I come to the door was, "Hey, youngster, I got some dope. You want to get high?" Oh. And I looked at the dude, and he was a big dude. He was scary. Big, buff, white dude. Go cheese down to here. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I told him, "No, man, I'm good. I'm trying to change my life." And he invited me into the cell. A couple of weeks later, he's like, I asked him, I was like, "Hey, man, why'd you ask me that?" He's all, "Because if you wanted to get high, I would have stabbed you. I don't want people like that in my cell. Can't trust them."
God.
And we became good friends, man. We became
Wow.
good friends. And he just kept reminding me, like, out of all the things that I told him and all the stories that I told him,
Mm-hmm.
he's all, but where's that going to get you, bro?
Right.
I'm never going home. Do you realize that? I'm never going home.
Man.
There's not a chance in hell that I'll ever leave these walls. And that was kind of my eye opener.
Right.
That was God sent me into that cell for a reason.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That for some reason, something inside of me told me, say no to drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily I gained a good friend out of it. You know what I
Right.
mean? And he schooled me.
Right.
And he told me what to do when I got out. And I'm doing it.
Absolutely,
You know what
man. God put you in so many situations and scenarios to see, well, you gonna go left or you gonna go right.
I mean? Oh, I always went left.
Right. I mean,
Man, gotta do that.
most people do. You know what I'm saying? They're growing. They don't know. You know, nobody knows who they really are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to a certain extent, nobody really knows what they know what they want to do. But the saying is tell God your plans and make them laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like tell them what it is that you want. I'm going to do this. I'm like,
he already has it all
I
planned
got you planned. You know what I'm saying?
He already got everything
I got
worked
typed
out.
Yeah, you did what I'm saying. I got you typed out already. So
he gives you the option to do what you want to do,
right,
but at the
right.
end, he steers you to where you gotta be.
To where you have to be in
exactly.
the end. And you know, fortunately, you gained somebody who was able to, you know, get that eye opener. You know what I'm saying? Get that eye open and be like, yo, this is not where I want to die. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to die out there, but this is definitely not the place that I want to die at. So, you know,
I don't ever think I was scared of death, though.
No.
I was scared of failing.
Fear of failure.
Yeah. It wasn't so much the death. The death, everybody dies.
Right.
And they can't escape that.
No,
and not a person in this world that can escape death.
Right.
When it's your time, it's your time. But failing as a father, failing as a man, failing as a person, bro. That's where it hit me. You know what I mean? I didn't want to fail. And so I did whatever I had to do to get money. I did whatever I had to do to eat.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Because I knew that there was a lot of people out there that would talk the talk, but they wouldn't put in the work for that.
Right.
I did.
Thank God for that, man. And thank God for that, man. Thank God for your savvy. You know what I'm saying? You're because you're able to turn, but because now that you out, you're able to turn that into a positive. You're able to turn your old hustle into some, you know what I'm saying, your old money to some new money.
Exactly.
You dig what I'm saying? And in a positive way where you can do it legally, you can do it, you know what I'm saying, and get it how you live. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, thank God for that person that you met that was like, yo, this is what
he just opened my eyes to
what I didn't want. It's just what it is. That's just what it is. Why don't as men, and this is flipping it, but why as men, I teach my kids, like, whenever you see somebody and you know them, always ask them, how are you? I think that's such a major thing. In like, I run, you know, every single day, and I if I see somebody, you know, and I'm just passing up, I'm like, hey, how you doing? God bless you. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever it is like that. You never know what somebody might be going through. And out today, especially homeless people, I see them all the time when I'm running. And I, you know, whether it's a good morning, you know what I'm saying, or good afternoon, because you never know how that can make somebody's day. Especially, but the words "how are you" mean something to somebody. Why don't you feel as men we're asked, hey, how are you? Like, what's going on with you? Like, and I'm not saying to spew your entire guts out, but I'm just saying, how are you doing, man? How's your mental game as a man, you know, in American society, in society in general, because we have these societal stamps that are placed on us. Why aren't we asked, hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
for me, I think it stems back to that, what have you done for me lately type of thing. Nobody really cares how you are.
Right.
They only care what you've done for them.
Right.
I mean, if you're not doing for them, they're going to hit you up. How you doing? How you been? Opening the conversation. But ultimately, nobody cares about the next person. If we did, the country wouldn't be in turmoil.
Right.
We'd all be backing each other up. There wouldn't be homeless people hungry.
Right.
While we're giving trillions away to a different country to fight some battle that's not even our fault.
Billions of dollars sitting at the top of a building, at the bottom of the building is surrounded by homeless people.
Exactly.
And so many things like that. You're right. Society does not care about anything anymore. They don't,
unless it's something flashy.
Right.
Or something that they can be like, ooh, all at. I don't really care.
Right. You know, post on the gram, post on whatever it is.
Yeah, people go around posting their whole lives on the gram, and they've been dressed in designer, but the rent's late.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people who do that kind of stuff they don't really have it like that. It's a facade of a lifestyle that they are forced. Yeah, that they are forced to have to live up to. You have hundreds of thousands of followers. You have to show that your lifestyle is a certain type of way. And I think that's really that's really crazy. That's really crazy to me. Let me see what this is. Go back to this one. Piggybacking off that, how do you think social media has changed the life as we know it? Like, see, social media went like that back when we were back in. Yeah, what MySpace
was a joke.
And when we got in college, when I got in college, it was like Facebook at that time. It was like maybe one, and then it was, I don't remember, it was like IM before that, but
it was Instant Messenger on AOL.
Yeah. But it was nothing like it was today. Because see, now you have visuals. Now you have videos. Now, again, and you have these people posting their lives, and they see, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you think social media has honestly changed the outlook on life?
Oh, man, it ruined it.
I
honestly feel like it's ruining us as a community, as a society, 100% and as a being, human beings. Just look at all the stuff that they're putting on the gram.
Right.
A lot of it's useless. It's just entertainment. A lot of the stuff is facades, lies, smoky screens, green screens behind it. You know what I mean? And it's ruined. It really streamlined accessibility to people. That's why you see so many people cheating nowadays, because it's accessible. They post a picture or a meme saying, "Hey, I'm going through something." Bam, that dirty scoundrel's in the DM saying, "Hey, baby, what's going on?"
Right.
Bam, and that's how it made everything more accessible. And it's ruining relationships. It's ruining marriages. It's ruining our kids. I could do without it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Only reason I even have my stuff open is for people to hit me up.
Right.
Post maybe a couple things about my kids, or when I go camping, stuff like that.
Right. It's just a tool. You got to honestly know how to use it. It's becoming more scarce for businesses, because they're able to figure out how people are starting to make money off of it. So it's really not even used for anything at this point. If you're not using it for business, use it for pleasure, and that's one thing. But businesses are getting smarter to know these people are really making some money off of us. Let's figure out how we can either, they got rid of the blue checks. That's why you don't see so many people have blue checks anymore, because you have to pay for that kind of stuff now.
Oh yeah.
And I believe you, like you said, it's ruined. I think it's ruined our kids. I think not just social media. I think just having devices has ruined a lot of things in society as well.
How many phone numbers you remember?
Oh, Lordy.
How many addresses you remember now?
I can remember 2.
I remember when we were kids, we remember everybody's address, phone numbers,
and
their birthdays, everything in our memory, in our brain.
Yep.
Since I've had a device, all I do is push the name. I don't never see the number.
You don't ever see the number.
It's making us dumber. I mean, it's a lot of accessibility, information you can find online that you need at that moment. Of course. But that's cool if you use it just for that.
Right.
But when you're using it and portraying something that you're not online, and trying to build a gathering based off of something that's immoral.
Right.
Prostitution. I mean, all kinds of stuff on here.
There's a whole.
You can't go on Instagram nowadays without getting invited to a chat with some girl.
And this is why I had to unfollow. Yeah, I had to unfollow. Like you can't even have your stuff open just in general. Like, I remember, following like a world star. You know what I'm saying? And I would open up my phone and just be a you know what I'm saying? Like a big old, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I got my kids right here. I got my wife, on the side of me and stuff. And like, what you looking at? You know what I'm saying? And it's that kind of stuff. I think it ruins households. I think it ruins families. I think it ruins children. I think social media, it ruins children because they make them feel like they have to do this. Like, this is how they have to
This is the norm.
This is the norm.
This is what people are doing my age.
Right.
And they feel that pressure. They feel that pressure to be that person, even though they don't want to be.
See, it used to be just a crowd of people who were keeping you influenced. Now you have an entire world.
Yes, sir.
That your kids are influenced by. That's some crazy-ish to me, man. Like, Man.
And think about all the information that they're gathering on us as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Cambridge Analytica, the people in China that run TikTok.
Because everybody who's running it are number crunchers.
Exactly.
So that's why you're able to see so many advertisements on there, because they do your Google searches. They're able to see what you look at. Mostly
your
what's
location,
frequently your location.
They use geofencing to see when you go into certain stores, and all of a sudden you're going to have certain store ads popping up on Facebook.
I can mention, me and my wife would be talking about Target or something, and you'll see an ad for Target on your phone. It's the craziest thing.
Well, but they've been doing that for years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They've been targeting families by the purchases. So whenever you use your credit card at the store back in the day, your credit card company would sell that information on what you purchased, and you would get more personalized sale ads in the Sunday paper.
Right. So that's stuff that you
normally would buy.
Exactly.
Stuff that would interest you if you were to go to their store again.
Right.
There's no point in putting stuff on there that you're not going to buy. You're going to flip through it and throw it away.
Yeah.
You put some stuff on there that you're used to buying.
Yeah.
Oh, man, look, Mom, we can save on this.
Right.
Sweetie, we can save on this.
We just bought one of these last week.
And now it's on sale. Let's return and get the sale one.
Right.
Save some money.
Damn, I didn't even realize that.
It goes back. It goes back. It goes real deep,
man. So, and it's crazy of how they just have your mind conditioned. Yeah. It's a conditioning of the mind. It's a conditioning of this is what the normal is. This is what we're going to do. And we're just going to continue to pump this.
And it's hard to regulate.
No, absolutely. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. They won't know about it until somebody posts and lets them know that, hey, this is not cool.
Right.
And and reports them. And so it's hard to really sit there and let my kids play on that stuff. They want to do on the TikToks and all the, and I'm like, no, they're just getting your facial recognition. Number one. Number two, and maybe that's just because I'm a criminal. You know what I mean? I don't like the digital imprint. You know what I mean? But ultimately, like, man, they can steal a lot of stuff from you. Scammers. Absolutely. Scamming's on an all-time high right now. So many gullible people in this country, man. You know, they go on there. Hey, somebody send you a text message. Hey, it's me. I'm trying to get in my Facebook, and they said that I need you to click this link to prove that it's me.
Right.
Boom! All of a sudden, they're in your Facebook sending money to wherever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm against social media, really.
I could dig it, man. What's one thing you wish in your life personally that you can unlearn about yourself?
Unlearn about myself?
Let's not even talk about self. If you want to answer that one, you can. But what's one thing you wish you can unlearn?
My willingness to take it all the way.
You're what I'm saying?
My willingness to take it all the way.
Leverage.
Like to take it all the way. So like if somebody came up to right now and try to harm us, my willingness to take it there, to take it all the way and kill them instead of them kill us.
Right.
That's something I wish I could unlearn about myself.
Right.
Because throughout the years, that was my go-to. Something happened, let's just take this dude out. Let's just beat this dude up. Let's just do this or that. And it put me in a lot of bad situations, man. It hurt a lot of people. A lot of people I cared about too suffered. You know what I mean? But yeah, I probably would want to lose the no. Let me rephrase that. If that was one thing I could take away, that would be it.
That would be it.
Yeah, definitely.
Damn,
I'd rather be a scared chicken than a dead wolf. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. But again, that's I believe that's a part of a survival tactic. You know what I'm saying? You again rather get caught with it than caught without it. You know what I'm saying? That's the mentality, and I think that's unfortunately sometimes that's just how you have to succumb to your. You know what I'm saying? Succumb to the way you live at some points until you get
make your bed. You gotta lay in it.
Right. Because that's what you chose. You know, for that moment. What do you believe that's the disconnect between what would you say the disconnect is between our generation and let's just say a normal teenager's generation is
morals.
Now. Morals. That's a great one.
Morals.
That's a great one. I've been told the social media's changed. I've been told the way things are today have changed it. But I'm a firm believer in morals too. I believe in that moral. When I was raised, man, I was raised under a 2-parent household. We grew up as Christians. There's just certain things we just didn't do that are just out. And the way you see it today, it's like it's normal to see a kid, on drugs and they just like that kind of stuff. it's a desensitized society.
Exactly.
I
That's a great
believe
word.
we live
Yeah,
in
we're
now. So,
desensitized
yeah.
to what the freak is really going
Right.
on.
Right. Right.
And it's sad. I grew up in
Yeah.
a single mom with a
Uh-huh.
single mom, 5 kids.
Hmm.
She sold drugs and guns. So I grew up around the whole
Right.
life.
So you're
But
desensitized
my
from jump.
morals were still intact
Right.
from my grandfather.
Right.
My grandfather was a military man. He was a good man. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And he taught me things. Loyalty, respect. And that's what I've guided myself on.
Right.
Stand tall and be true. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
No matter what you're facing, stand tall and be true and you're going to make it through.
Right.
That's always been my grandfather's motto.
Right.
No matter what it was. And it's a shame what's happening to these young people, man. It's just a shame. We really need to buckle down and get back to that family unit and take care of our kids because our kids are the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I as having a teenager, you'll see it, and it gets worse. It gets worse. Let me be honest.
You mean the attitude gets deeper?
The attitude, but the expectation of what they think that they're supposed to be able to do today, it gets worse. It gets worse. Um, I see again back in the day, it was different. Girls didn't wear what they wear today back then. I remember back then at our school, if girls used to wear like the craziest things at school, like short like skirts, or they showing, whatever it was. You remember that big ass yellow shirt they used to make girls wear back at our school? Remember that?
Yep.
Like when they came to school with something that was crazy on.
Yep.
And it was like
they had to reach down to their thighs in the beginning. Had their hands in, their skirt didn't pass their hands. They got to put the yellow shirt on.
Shirt, that big ass yellow shirt. I don't remember that, but yeah. But so I see today, and I see like, what the hell is this? Is normal? Like I've seen it. I've seen it. I've been a witness to it. And of course, you can't tell anybody else how to raise their kids, but I know the damn well ain't going on in my household. So so the morals, like you said, are the biggest differential. We just didn't do those types of things back.
And it's not that we didn't do it, it's just we didn't boast about it.
Right.
We kind of hid that from our parents. Nowadays they're like, get my mom. I don't care what my mom says, I'm grown.
Right.
Really, they're not, man.
Right.
I mean, look at all the TV shows, look at all the news broadcastings, look at all the stuff that they put on TV. Mm-hmm. Love Islands and all this stuff, you know what I mean? Like The Bachelorette. They're purposely desensitizing our children for what?
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden they're putting these books in school that's making it okay for the child to choose what gender they are. Mm-hmm. And if you put $10,000 right here and $100 right here, and you ask the child which one they want more, they're probably gonna go for the $100. They don't know better.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a whole different subject, man. Like, when you get into that kind of stuff, it's the world trying to raise your child.
Exactly.
It's the age that we live in, the social media age that we live in, that this is normal. I'm a firm believer in, doing what you want to do when you're outside of my house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Just don't let me find out.
Just don't let me find out.
Don't let me get a call from the police.
Right.
Talking about
right.
You down there.
Exactly. But it's this whole thing where I want to be this way, and I'm changing myself because society tells me it's okay, and this is what I'm gonna do, and you guys are gonna support me. Again, at the end of the day, if that's what you do with your lifestyle, that's between you and God. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Exactly.
But as my child, you will not raise my child to believe that something is normal or something is supposed to be a certain type of way, and they are labeled this if they don't believe that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the world has it twisted today, is if you have a difference of opinion of what what the political correct, quote unquote, politically correct thing is, then
we're too politically correct.
Right.
We're to a fault. To a point where it's screwing us over.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's certain things that are cool. There's certain things that are not cool.
Right.
And as a society, we can grow into whatever direction we want. We can be absolutely steered into a different direction if they want to. And it's just a shame, man, of what they're doing. They're kind of blinding a lot of people, and they're kind of manipulating the system to work in their favor.
Right.
It's like, what is their objective on this?
Right.
What's the ends? Does the means justify it?
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you this. As a parent, when you see this kind of stuff and you see these types of things, if you were to die today, what is most important to you? Do you believe leaving what's more important to you, leaving values to your children or leaving a legacy? There's two different things, in my opinion. Legacy,
they are two different things, but I think they coincide with each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you can't leave a legacy if they the legacy is what they follow. You know what I mean? And what you did for them, what you left behind for them, what you taught them before you left. The values. I mean, with the stuff that's going on TV nowadays, man, it doesn't matter. They're going to get, unless you're a strong parent, you can hold it down and teach your kids some real core values.
Mm-hmm.
This internet, the social media is going to snatch them up. So to me, leaving a legacy would be more important. Leaving something for them to grow from.
Right.
Because I can die right now. At this point in my life, yeah, I'm off of drugs. Yeah, I've been sober. Yeah, I've been, I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
I got a job. I got a nice car and stuff like that. But I'm not set up financially for them yet.
Right, right.
I've only been able to master my finances so far.
Right.
And now my goal is to build that legacy. Make sure they have college money. Mm-hmm. Make sure if something happens to me, make sure they have a place to always live. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So to me, building a legacy is more important in my eyes because I'm already teaching them the values. Right. But my legacy is what I leave after I go.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's because values they change. You know what I'm saying? Eventually some values will change. There's some things you learn as a kid that's embedded in you, but that's not something sometimes that you value when you grow up because you have to move along with society. But you can always keep that moral, you know what I'm saying, that moral thing that you learned growing up. You know what's right and you know what's wrong, but the value in some things will change because societies just continue to move on and on and on. Yeah. And you can either get with it or stay in 94. And you see what I'm saying? Why? Okay, so I got a question that one of my viewers actually asked me to ask, which is a great question. Why do you feel as men we have to overcompensate? I'll give you for instance, like we feel like we always have to be the man, the strong one, the one to bear all the issues, the one to take the world on our shoulders. Do you believe that's just a social stereotype of the male species, or do you believe that's something that we just grow up with, that we just sabotage ourselves with? Like, what do you think?
Well, that's a great question. Mm-hmm. Well, number one, it is a stereotype.
It's a stereotype.
And it also self-sabotaging.
Okay.
Because some people can't bear that weight.
Right, right.
And so when they try to bear that weight and be that man and they fail, they go in the directions I went. Street life, crime, mm-hmm. drugs, stuff like that. But it's also a stereotype, like I mentioned. It stems back to our primal state, you know what I mean? When we were cavemen. We were the only ones dumb enough to go outside when there was dinosaurs around. You know what I'm saying? And so since then, we've been the ones holding it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I see it, you know?
Right. I think it's, again, like you said, I think it's a little bit of both. I think that, you know, we're not taught to be like, you can have a bad day. You can not feel good. You
can be sad.
You can be sad.
You can have feelings.
You can cry. You can feel.
You
can have.
You can go through things and show emotions. It's okay as long as you don't let your emotions overwhelm you and put you in the wrong spot.
Right.
But that we're not taught that.
No,
we're taught to be strong.
Right.
Not to cry. Even as your kids nowadays, you have a little boy. Stop crying. Be a man.
Right.
Goes back to that. You know what I mean? It all stems back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those are the things that we are feeding our kids that are hurting them. Like we spoke earlier in the podcast. Mm-hmm. We're hurting our generation and the generations to come. Right. We're not teaching them right. We're not showing them right. You got so many women rapping about selling coochie and how they're proud to do this. Yeah. And we got daughters. We can't just let them listen to this kind of stuff, man. You know what I mean? But for men, it's a lot harder, I believe, because there's so many stereotypes on us. Yeah. There's so many things that we're expected to do. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. If you and your wife was out there and some guy came up and tried to rob you guys, would your wife want you to hurt that person or protect her, or would she expect you to protect you?
That's an expectation.
It's an expectation. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, you ask your wife, hey, look, I'm running late tonight. Could you make sure some dinner is ready for me because I got to leave as soon as I get home? Mm-hmm. You're expecting her to do that. Mm-hmm. When she doesn't do it, I didn't have time. I was dealing with the kids. Right. We don't rag on them like they would us.
Right.
oh, you didn't even man up and take care of that stuff. That guy, you just let it run off of my wallet. You know what I mean? But you wasn't in there. Oh, so what if you had the kids?
Right.
You didn't cook the food. I needed you to do this. We
Right.
don't do that.
Right.
So that's the different expectations
Mm-hmm.
that we have on us. No matter what, we have to follow through because we're a man.
Right.
That's where man of our word came from.
Mm-hmm.
We had to follow through no matter what.
Right.
You gave somebody your word, you had to do it.
To follow through,
and that's wrong with this generation too. They're all backstabbing each other. They're all screwing each other's friends. They're all doing drugs together. Mm-hmm. And the drugs is really probably what's messing them up the most.
Yeah.
And the promotion of drugs. Yeah, all the rappers want to talk about selling drugs and doing drugs and popping mollies and doing all this stuff. Is misguiding our youth.
Right. Well, we were and when we were, just back in our time with music in high school and different things like that, drugs weren't really celebrated. They were what was not celebrated, what was talked about more was selling them more than doing them.
Yeah.
And these little kids, they do them and it's celebrated. It's almost like, I just popped one, I got me a Xan, I got me this, I got me that. And I actually was watching an interview. I don't even know who the young brother was, but he was asking the dude, "You want a perk? You want a perk? I'm a perk." Like, what? Like, and you? No,
he's probably off of fentanyl.
Right. And you sold millions of records.
All them perk 30s are fentanyl based, man. Come on, man. They're pressing them in their bathroom. Stop doing it. What are you thinking, man?
So right, but we see this kind of stuff, and this is what's being taught to your kids. This is what's being shoved in your kids' face. That's like normal. So when they start, and we've been victims of it. I mean, we've seen it. We quote the same thing, and then it's like when you get older, like when your parents was telling you, do you know what they're really saying in that song? Or do you know what you know what I'm saying? Do you really know what a re-up is? Do you really know what you know what I'm saying?
Well, they know because social media makes it accessible.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to know anything, you can go on social media right now, type it in, and they will learn anything.
And that's the cool part about social media is you put your dirt right up on what you're doing. Back in our day, you couldn't do that.
You don't do that.
Let me tell you this. When you do dirt back in the day, it wasn't supposed to be known that you do dirt. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a known thing. Like it was a more boy, you know what I'm saying? He do it.
Y'all put it right. It was Omerta.
Right.
Italian for don't talk about it.
You put it on social media. You put it in your music. You do dirt, and then you go and tell you do dirt. That's the dumbest thing I can even say about. I mean, it's the dumbest way to live, and it's the dumbest way to go about. You feel like you get a status because of that. No, you just look dumb. You just look
the gang task force is on the gram. You're
right,
a doofus.
Right.
Let's
they
get
see
real.
Everything you're doing. They know everything you're doing.
You can't. Your phone's your biggest snitch now.
Right, absolutely.
You can't even take your phone somewhere. So if you take your phone somewhere, they can ping your location no matter what. Whether past, present, current, doesn't matter.
Right.
You take that. You go hit a lick. Boom. You're automatically tied to it.
I was watching this documentary on Netflix about Aaron Hernandez. How he was killing people, and they were able to track him from. He was making phone calls as he was going back and forth, and they were just pinging him, ping. Yep. I mean, he was pinged everywhere around where he was doing the dirt. Again, stop doing the dirt. But oh my God, dude, you do dirt. Why are you putting it on Instagram? Why are you showing people that you fighting on Instagram? And why are you showing people that you doing? They can find you anywhere. I again,
just remember it's statute of limitations. Right. That's all I gotta say. Statute of limitations. So you're posting it now, and they backdated to that date when you get caught up on it. You're screwed.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man.
Leave your phone at home when you hit the licks.
Yeah, absolutely, shit, man. So, at the spot, again, it's all about the culture. We celebrate all genres of music: hip hop, R&B. We all about, the pop culture and just everything that's going on today. But this year is the 50th year of celebration of hip hop. And I know you are a huge fan of hip hop. We used to share mix CDs, you know what I'm saying? Passing the CDs in between class, you know what I'm saying? In between class. So, where do you think music is right now, man, in your opinion? Where is hip hop right now, man?
They're in a slump. Where's it going? In my opinion, they're in a slump.
Think so?
The stuff that they're promoting, the things that they're saying and portraying that they're doing, it's ruining our kids. There's no motivation there. Yeah, everybody sees that you're balling, but how did you get there?
Right.
We don't care.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't from
Right.
selling drugs. It wasn't from selling coochie. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? You didn't really do all that. You know what I mean? If you did and you talking about it, you stupid for it.
Right. Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And so they really need to get on their game, man, and try to find a way to empower our youth, empower of our people.
Mm-hmm.
Like Immortal Technique, he wakes people up about what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. Get back to those roots, man. Wake these people up. Show them something different. Show them how to come up the right way.
Right.
Show them how not to die at 25 years old because they wanted to put something on the gram and somebody
Mm-hmm.
followed them there and shot them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do something better, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a
Right.
lot of good artists out right now. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I've been steering away from the hip hop. I've been going to country.
All right, man.
I'm not
Hey,
gonna
man,
lie.
That's where you get some of the
Shout out to
realest.
Jelly Roll.
That's where you get some of the realest. Look. I'm gonna check this out. Check this out. I don't even listen to country music like that, but the few and songs that I've heard, man, they get into some deep shit, man. Like it gets deep, man. They talk about how they feeling. They be drinking. They just be, they be in a slump, man. And it's real pain in country music, man. And I didn't even really realize that.
Country stems from the blues.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
the blues was the blues. Yeah, the blues was the blues.
But it stems from the blues.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's not like old school country where they're talking about their wife leaving them and
right.
taking the dog and stuff like that, having
right.
a pickup truck driving in circles. It's not like that no more, man. It's more our time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Our state of mind, but just with country sound. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's why I'm digging it lately.
Yeah, I could dig that, man.
You know what I mean? Plus, it does not talk about all this violence and killings and drugs and prostitution. And I got the kids in the car all the time. So I got to listen to something that's comparable. You know what I mean?
Right. I think that's the toughest part for me is, when you make a playlist these days, especially if you have kids, you really have to figure out, like, what the hell is it that your kids is listening to? Because you bopping it and but it's like.
You're used to it.
You know what I mean?
But the kids sitting back there like.
Yeah, like my 3-year-old, she be listening to some of the music. Like, she knows, like, because I listen to a lot of old school. Like, I listen to a lot of, like, millennium music, the music that we grew up with. I don't really listen to I couldn't say that I listened to many artists that were, past 2012, I'd say. So you got the Drakes, you got the Kendricks, you got the J. Cole's,
Lil Wayne's,
the Waynes, of course. Those are my goats. That that ship shape. I'm saying, me, especially Wayne. That was growing up, but hip hop to me, man, currently is, like you said, I think it's at a standstill. I think we're at this breaking point where they don't really know where they want to be. It's in an area where it's half, let me sell my ass, let me promote this, but then you got some cats coming out, man, that are really promoting, like the Coles, like the J. Cole's, the Kendrick Lamar's. There's few and far in the pocket, Cordays. I can go on and just about a lot of the ones that I personally listen to. And I think if we can kind of steer back to where hip hop has some type of message to it, it doesn't have to be this stay off drugs and stay in school message, because that message is not cool anymore.
That's what's it's not what's in.
It's not
but it's what we need to hear too. At the same time.
Exactly, but it's what you need to hear, and you need to find somebody who's cool enough to make it sound
like J. Cole. He rapped through college. Exactly. He rapped his way through college.
Exactly. I think he's
probably one of the greatest artists out there.
Absolutely, I think he's one of the ones that I relate to the most. Because this dude goes through it. He has kids. He goes through things with his wife, and he's just at that certain point. For me right now, J. Cole is who I personally listen to a lot, because he's just at this point in his life where
he's grown.
He's been through it with the ladies. He's been through it with the clubs. He's partied. He's done all of this stuff. Now he's married. He's got kids. And now the content is different. You know what I'm saying? I love artists who can move on with the content. I don't want to hear if you're 45 years old and you've got a full-blown family and you still talking about what you're doing out here with these females and what you're doing. You're not doing that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, be able to change yourself. Be able to change the content.
You got to evolve.
Yeah. But I think the state of hip hop right now is, again, in a lost state, and it is at a standstill, because I think it's kind of being pulled in two different directions. Personally. Now I gotta wrap this thing up, but two more questions. What's one album, man, you can listen to forever without any skips?
Oh man, Tupac Resurrection,
Oh,
hands
there you
down.
go, man.
That's my era. That's the era I grew up in.
One, man. That was a cut. That was he had that cut with Eminem.
Standing by the window with my
AK.
Yeah,
man. That was a great album. That was a
but
great album.
Pac was a visionary.
Absolutely.
I mean? And he was definitely with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he had the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? At the same time, so he had the gangster side of him, and he had the political side of him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because his family was Black Panthers, all of that stuff. So
mm-hmm.
I really relate to Pac a lot of his songs, and that's how it was living my life as well.
Right. And
even that, it turned me into something that I didn't end up wanting to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why I had to change around and do what I do now.
Of course.
But yeah, that one, Tupac Resurrection.
I could dig that, man. I love that album.
Like almost every one, almost every song that I think is
right. Yeah, that was a great album. That was
Straight G's. Running, Ghost.
Running is probably my favorite one off that album. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
Staring Through My Rear View. Yeah, he had a bunch of songs on there, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can bump that whole album back to back.
I think Eminem produced that one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he produced that joint. Yeah, that was cold. I love that album.
It came out my 10th grade.
Yeah, I remember.
Yep.
Yep. I was about to say it came out when I was in high school.
I used to ride my bicycle to school listening to Tupac every day. And then whenever I turned into a third, the CD player that used to skip in my jacket every time it hit. Oh man, it was a struggle.
I don't know about them days, man. The struggle, the earphone struggle when you had to wrap your ish around that damn CD player when your ish wasn't working, or you had one ear, it'd be like, yo, bro, like it was a struggle, man.
It's even worse in prison.
Right. All right, man.
You turn the CD players into tattoo machines in there.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. It was the times, man. We had some great times growing up, man. But so I'm gonna throw a stinger at you, man. And this is something I didn't but you only get one concert, right? Let's just create a scenario. You get one concert, one show. You only have 3 artists that you can put on. Who's performing? Any genre, dead or alive.
Ooh.
Who you got?
Man, that's a tough one.
I like to throw these ones out, man. These little stingers. I like to throw these out. If you guys have watched this before, you'll know this is one of the questions that I like to throw out.
I don't know. My top 3 artists, man, I would probably put Wayne up there.
Okay.
Lil Wayne, Eminem, because he can perform. And I'd probably put Pac up there, dog, to be honest. Those are my go-tos.
Dope-ass show.
That'd be my go-tos.
That'd be a dope-ass show, man. That's a dope-ass show, man. Well, man, thank you for coming, man. I really appreciate you, man. We had a lot of fun today. It's great reminiscing with you on the times, man. And, you know, we got more times ahead, man. We got these baby girls to raise.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And you're doing great in life, man. I really appreciate you, man. I love you, brother. You've always been somebody that, again, when we do talk, it's always been 100. It's always been real. You know, you show my family respect. You've always been respectful. Even my mom, you know, has asked about you in the past because she remembers how respectful you were. You know, she would appreciate that.
Like I said, we grew up on respect.
Yeah. We grew up on respect. So I can remember times my mom saying, like, you know, I like him. He's real respectful. You know what I'm saying? He always, you know, address her by how you doing. You know, so I can always appreciate that, man. But, you know, once again, thank you for joining us on the spot today, man. We really appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for everybody who continues to follow us, like and subscribe.
Tune into greatness.
Yeah, tune into greatness, man. Once again, shalom. Thank you. Peace to you and yours, man. And thank you for coming through, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Of course, brother. I want to miss it for the world.
For sure, man.